Well, we've had a few questions about exchange rate things and currency. Somebody asked you what will the dollar be like next year? I don't know. I'll take that side as you don't want to answer it. Maybe you have a
I'm not. It was easy a few years ago to see the dollar had to come down a lot because there was a large deficit, current account deficit. So it wasn't going to be sustainable. After that, it's been hard to say. And what's happening right now with this, with the dollar being the safe haven, is really quite strange. And I don't know how long that lasts.
Okay. Flexible exchange rates have worked very well for Sweden in the current crisis. The currency is weakening, helping Swedish exports, but the US dollar is appreciating. Why?
That's exactly the same thing. There is this remarkable thing that in the face of a worldwide financial crisis, people are fleeing into dollar securities. And I'm not entirely sure that makes sense.
And not in the spring, only in the autumn.
What's right? Yeah. Well, it's post-Lehman. It's the world as we know it ended on September 15th, the fall of Lehman Brothers, and then there's this rush into, as the line says, the only things people are so afraid that the only things that they're stocking up on bottled water and treasury bills, and that's a
bottled water. Why?
So you can sit in your bomb shelter and have enough to drink.
So flexible exchange rates, is that a good thing?
You know, I've always wanted central banks to have the freedom to cut interest rates when the economy is slumping, and that's exchange rates. Now there are, if you're a very small economy, the uncertainty over the exchange rate becomes a problem. There's some evidence that multiple currencies are a significant inhibition to trade, but there's always a trade-off that we try to make the most of. There's a lot of rethinking going on right now. Was there a terrible mistake made by some countries having floating exchange rates? Should Iceland really have had its own currency? But the problem there, I think, is not so much the flexible exchange rate as it was not being part of a lender of last resort facility, not having basically access to the ECB. Beyond that, I think it would be a terrible mistake to try and fix the dollar-euro rate. It would be a terrible mistake. And obviously, someone wants to know about Sweden. You seem to be doing okay with this, the countries that are really vulnerable are the ones that have huge imports of capital without a secure currency peg. But this is not your problem.
When a very long time ago in the 90s, when I was considering whether it was a good or bad thing for Sweden to join this upcoming monetary union, that in those days appeared to be a vague and remote thing for Sweden, as we had such enormous deficits, and the economic performance made it out of question to even think about it. And I remember I consulted you about this and asked you what you think, and you said something like, well, that's a great idea. As an economist, I would love to see it materialized so as a big laboratory, but I'm very happy I will not have to live there. What did you mean by that?
The experiment of having a single currency it means that you have no good adjustment mechanism. It's not if you have we have yet to actually have a full test of that. Let's see how Spain is doing, or Greece is doing after 2 or 3 years, having had these vast capital inflows and housing bubbles, and then having them burst, and having no ability to devalue their currencies. So this is going to be tough. Now, it turns out the worst thing is the kind of halfway house of pegging to the euro, with convincing people to borrow lots in euros and and then finding out that we probably can't sustain the thing afterward. So we're.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, the line that I picked up just this week is that Latvia is the Argentina of 2008.
Argentina is bigger. So.
Yes, but functionally, the outline of the crisis is very nearly identical.
Anyway, the last question before you will be a free man to go and solve the world's problems. I got a question here. I'll read it to you. What is the probability of GM and Chrysler going bankrupt? And should the government try to save them? You were talking about car industry on your Nobel lecture, so in theoretical terms.
The question is, what does bankrupt mean? The probability of having something that is a Chapter 11, essentially wiping out the stockholders and abrogating some of the contracts, is very high, and very hard to see how they avoid having something like that happen. The question is whether they will actually be liquidated. So whether, in the U.S. jargon, whether Chapter 11 will go to Chapter 7. And that seems like a reasonably high probability, though I think less than even odds, because politically, in the end, despite the failure to reach a deal yesterday, I suspect that the auto companies will have to at least be kept alive for a while. But it's I don't consider the most likely option still, I think, is what people are calling a prepackaged bankruptcy, where the companies are declared bankrupt, where they their contracts are null and void, where they can drop some of their past promises, but they are kept in existence, and they have a credit line from the U.S. government, and they have warranties for people who buy cars, so that they aren't afraid they're buying a car from a company that will cease to exist. I don't think that stockholders of these companies are going to come out with much of anything. And even so,
are there any stockholders here?
But no, I mean, this is. I have to say that the whole performance, when the management took their private jets to Washington to plead for money, although in fact it's trivial, right? This is the cost of that private jet is not going to make or break the companies. It just demonstrated a level of stupidity that makes you wonder whether that industry can survive at all.